together, you guys start writing. Was it just that technical and that gnarly right off the rip?
I mean, pretty much. So basically the way the whole band came together was um because I went to a different school all the way up till 10th grade. 11th and 12th, my dad moved us over to the Stony Brook area, and that's when I went to the other school. So two of the guys that were in Suffocation were from the first school, Longwood. So it was Doug Cerrito and Mike Smith. So then I move, and that's where I run into Terrence Hobbs and Josh Barron. So, now because I'm friends with both sides, we all start mutually hanging out and getting to know each other. And, Mike's playing drums at that point. And, we start forming like different bands, like, cover band type stuff. Some guys would play with this, some guys played in another band. And what happened was there was a band called Mortuary, and that was the beginnings of Suffocation. And that was basically Mike Smith, Doug Cerrito, Terrence Hobbs, Chris Basile played bass.
The guy in Pyrexia?
Yes.
Yep.
And there was a kid, Billy Reyes, who we went to school with. He was the singer. So a lot of those songs that are on like Effigy and stuff like that, that came from there, from that band. And then, I kind of like reworked some things vocally and stuff like that, different than what Billy did, so, but that's where most of the songs came from. So Terrence and Doug Cerrito were right off the bat. Those two just blended together, and that was the music they were creating.
Dude, that's just so crazy because like Suffo's got to be one of those weird bands that like you look at your first record and it's not that there wasn't growth as the band went, but you started out so hot, like right on point with figuring out your own style. A lot of bands will put out 1, 2, by the time you get to your sophomore record, you're finally figuring out, oh fuck, this is what we should be doing. And it was like Suffo was out of the starting gate and just
they set a high standard, like right from the get-go, like didn't even take long.
No,
like, it just started right from the get-go. Like that. Yeah, standard.
Their writing style was just amazing to watch the two of them put, stuff together. So that was going on the one side. So then me and Josh now got together with a drummer from school. He didn't really play death metal or anything like that, but he was a good drummer and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'll come jam out or whatever, and we'll see what we could do. And then there was an ad in one of those like magazines back then, or the local paper thing that came around, and it said, two guitar players into death metal, morbid, and I was like, yo, we got to call these guys. So it turned out one of the guys was actually Guy Marché, from Pyrexia, and he played with us later on. And another guy was his friend Todd German. So us five got together, and then I came up with the name Suffocation. I took it from the Morbid Angel song, Suffocation.
Sure.
And I said, yo, that's the name of the band, Suffocation. It's right to the point.
Yeah.
So we started jamming on our own, and we came up with 2 songs. One was called Afterlife. That didn't really go anywhere, but the other song was Catatonia.
It's crazy.
And so we were writing that stuff. We were doing our thing. The other band broke up. So Mortuary basically broke up, fell apart. So then little by little, each one of those members came over to Suffocation. And then that's where it pretty much took over. And once we had that lineup, the lineup was set.